Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome to another exciting episode. I always say exciting, but don't be fooled. Of Joe, what am I doing? Joe Ketchapalia talks about building a shipping container home. Um, no tiny home content today. Just doing the shipping container home. Haven't made any progress since last time. I'm still waiting for plans on on the tiny home stuff. Made a little bit of progress on the shipping container. I know last time I mentioned we had just gotten them moved. I went and checked them out. That was really the extent of it. We're not too much further, but at least now we're starting to make some progress. So I'm going to just show you a couple of random things today. Um, do a little bit of rambling. I'm sure you're wondering how that's different from many of my other videos. So am I. So here we go. Um, you can see. Let me just start this up. We got the doors off of these, except for one. We're going to leave them on that one. We're going to store supplies in there for right now. This is important. Keep the floors. We gone back and forth on. I really want to just refinish them. When we first got these containers, they're much lower cost, but we thought maybe the floors are too rough to be able to keep them. When we look at them here, it seemed like that might be the case. I'm going to show you in a little while. One of the things we did is get those pressure washed and really just evaluate them. And I do think we're going to be able to just refinish those floors, which I'm extremely excited about. I know it's gonna have a really rough looking finish, or sort of industrial look. Like this piece here is just a big piece of metal. And I think we have one of those in all four of these, which I haven't seen them in every container that I've looked at, but these all seem to be the same type of container. You can see, as I mentioned before, these are pretty rough shape. We did get an amazing deal on them. I think at the end of the day, I think that we're going to be somewhere around $2,000 or $3,000 below the budget that we had for shipping containers. For the cost of them plus getting them moved, just the containers themselves, we budgeted, I believe, 12,000. And so even though we're moving them twice now too, I think we're going to be in under 10 total. Because we're moving them twice because we had the setback with the foundation. You can see that these are really rough, but we are going to keep this look. I mean, I'm not looking for a beautifully finished product at the end. Just give you a little zoom in. This is what we had to cut through to get those doors off. Um, Obviously, I'm not the best cameraman. Sorry about that. But really, I'm just trying to keep everybody updated on the progress of this. So that was, I think I took that on, I don't know, maybe Saturday morning. And then I went and took some today. Nope, this is the same video. I think I'm showing you it again. Okay, so this is the one I took today. Remember, I'm not editing this at all. Sorry about that. I'm not trying to be a professional YouTuber. Just trying to share this build, the tiny home build, and anything else that I think might be interesting to someone else trying to do it. But so this is, we started to put the frames together. Especially one of the things you'll notice, this is laying down right now. We actually bought 8-foot 2x4s because they're about half the price of buying the 10-foot ones, but they're a little bit too short. And so what we're going to do is go stand those up and then frame back in the top. It'll allow us to do, a nice tight fit up there still. The reason we're framing out these ends, one, we're going to be putting some walls and windows here, obviously. But when we go to move them again, because we've removed those doors, those doors provide a little bit of structure when those are in transport. So you might be asking, well, why did we take them out then? And that's a good question. The big reason is we sold them, so that was exciting. We weren't going to use them, and somebody, we got a little bit of cash for them, which was nice. Helps the budget out a little bit. Wasn't even thinking about that when I just was talking about the lower container budget than I was hoping. So that was pretty good. So you can see these floors now. This is after we pressure wash them. I say I'm not doing any work on these, but my contractor. So they look a little darker today or in this video because they are still wet. But we were able to tell that they're definitely going to be salvageable. Um, so I was just super pumped about that, because I just like I want to use, you know, I started off this channel talking about I'm doing this because I'm interested in affordable housing, right? And I want to make a cool product that somebody is going to have fun visiting because I'm using it as a short-term rental. Um, but at the same time, I'm trying to save money wherever I can. And so when I see somebody that's doing these builds where they're taking a container and then covering every surface of it, redoing every little bit of it, I think that sort of defeats the, you're definitely not saving money at that point. It's not really even, I don't know that it's a very sustainable practice. I don't know that you're really getting into recycling when you do that. Um, because a lot of that metal maybe could be put to better use. So we are going to try to use every surface that we possibly can. I'm going to try to just refinish these floors. I'm hoping to leave the exterior the way it is right now. Not even painting it, maybe obviously patching a few holes. You can see from that last one we just looked at, they're not all watertight at the moment. Oh, and that is a point I wanted to mention. We're not going to be completely making these watertight because we're building a roof over the top of them instead of framing down a ceiling. It keeps the ceiling heights better. We'll keep the metal roof interior as our ceiling, and then above that we're building out a roof. And so we will patch some of those holes, but we're not going to be so concerned about them being completely watertight there. See, I promised rambling, and you are getting it. So, I paused this because I think I made my point though about just really trying to reuse every surface that we can. So we're just gonna clean and paint that metal roof on the interior for the ceiling. We're gonna try to keep the exterior paint as long as the city allows that because I love the rusted steel look. And there's just no reason to paint it if we don't have to. And then let's see what else. Just some of the materials we picked up. I thought this was interesting. The framing that we do on the inside, we use these uh, as opposed to using. They don't have to be very strong. It's not structural. We already have the structure. So this is the framing that we use on the inside is really just to hold the drywall in place because we are going to be building in. Um, have to frame it out, that way we can run electricity in the walls, run, anything, put the insulation in between because we're going to use a spray foam insulation, I think is what we finally decided on. And then um, have the drywall on the inside of that. But so I thought this was interesting. It actually, we got an amazing deal on this. Uh, I've seen another YouTuber, and I can't think of who it was that had mentioned Linwood Supply here in town, and they turned out to be a lot cheaper than anybody else that we looked at too. So that was kind of great. My contractor actually found them shopping around on his own because I failed to tell him I had seen that video, which we got to the same place. I'm dropping the ball, but this is all really a learning process for me. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. Not like I said, not a whole lot of progress. Those frames are built out, the doors are off, the power washed. Um, doing a couple of other things today to oh, um, just get the containers really ready, and hopefully this week, later in the week, I'll be able to give you a video, and we'll have more progress to show. I also think that we'll have the foundation plan done finally, so we can get moving in that direction. One thing I did want to talk about a little bit, we have a pretty, oh, here. Oh, no, right there. All right. Yep. Subscribe, and comment in case you haven't already. Um, I did get that one that I was promised last time that I talked about, so that was fantastic. Anybody else, feel free to jump in here. Um, yeah, lots of rambling today. Sorry, lost the train of thought again. Oh, wanted to talk about, I have a lot of ideas on what I want to do here, and one of the things I think, even though I have a lot of real estate experience and have worked in development in a lot of different places, this is really my first project that I own from start to finish, not just as an investment, but a ground up build. Um, and one of the things, that I've always seen is that a lot of owners will kind of get pushed around a little bit by their professionals, and not in a bad way, but in a way that they become a little bit too deferential. And I had a pretty interesting experience that we worked through on this one. Um, you know, we had the architect has very unique looking plans for this, and I really liked it, and I had a little input into it. But a lot of it was him. But the reasons that he had for a lot of the things he did were pretty smart. And I think, making some small little tweaks, he was really accomplishing a lot that wasn't necessarily obvious until you heard it from him and looked at it. And so some of those things, now that we're really working on the construction, the contractor is pushing back and is like, well, why don't we just, like the V shape? There's a lot of, I think I probably talked about what we're getting there, but there are a lot of benefits to it. Um, Aside from just making it look a little bit, it's not just aesthetics. And but the contractor's like, well, if we straighten that out and then we can roof over the top, it was a way, and I appreciate it because he's offering suggestions to save money. Um, and then like the staggered containers wanted to you know make those even again. And I understand that those are going to be some difficulties and maybe a little more expensive. But I think that there was real value that was provided by the architect creating those designs. And so this was an opportunity for me to sort of, as the owner of the project, where it was my job to kind of push back and say, no, I think the architect's right. I think this is going to create the best end product. Um, and it's not worth saving the few bucks. And honestly, we weren't really able to quantify how much it was saving, but the additional savings of making the changes that they wanted, I think would have just cut into the functionality of the property a little bit too much. And so, that's a lesson I've learned over and over again. When I was an attorney, watching people interact with their professionals, while I've worked on the finance side of development, and even as an employee, as for some developers, and of course as an agent now, I see people be overly deferential to their professionals, and I think that lucky for me to have that experience, it made it so I was able to immediately understand what was going on, and I think really advocate for what is going to be right for this project. Um, and that's about it. So a little bit of horn tooting there, but I think it's going to make the end product better. Is basically my whole point. But what all I'm just trying to say is, if you've got a project like this that you're working on, don't be afraid to own it. And even if you're new to all this stuff, and like I said, a lot of this is still new to me, despite having been in this industry for a long time. But don't let that stop you from really doing the research. You can figure out, talking to the other professionals too, understanding what your or architect was trying to accomplish, and what the real impact of some of those changes would be. But so I think that's going to be the end of the rambling today. I already said it, but in case you can't read, like, subscribe, comment below. Try to say nice things. I know my mom does watch this, so you know, I'm not deleting negative comments if they come up, but just keep that in mind. Have a super day.